Welcome to Creepy and Geeky. I'm your host, Robert, and on today's episode, I'm talking to Angel Krause about the Sixth Sense. But first, Donna and I are talking about all the newest stuff. How's it going, Donna?
Hey Robert, it is going well. It's not hot in the south today at this
Yes,
recording. It's actually been nice and cloudy and the humidity's down. I
same
love
here.
this. It's like
Yeah.
teasing me with the fall weather. It's like, "Ooh, here, Donna, this is what the sexy weather is like." And I'm like, "Bro."
Well, it's been raining here off and on, so we have the humidity, but it's kind of cooling now. It's been rainy like all morning,
Mhm.
and then it's supposed to stop raining and then just be cool for the rest of the evening. So that's
Man,
why
I
I'm
love
looking
that
forward to
shit.
that. Yeah.
We're getting so close to the ember months. I love
Oh
any of the
man.
ember months. That's my
Right?
favorite time of the year.
I don't like it when it gets cold, but I do like here in Georgia we have like at least a week's worth of fall.
Mhm.
And so I'm waiting for that week.
You're gonna pull out all the hoodies, you're gonna wear every hoodie that
Oh
you every
my
cap any
God.
color hoodie
I
that you
have
have.
like 6 or 7 of them now, so I've got them all set and ready to go.
Oh my gosh. So as my usual, I do not have a whole lot, but I have some things. So
Yes, I have a I have a
hopefully
I have a small smattering of things as well. We might double up, I don't know.
I doubt it.
It's been a weird slow week, so I'm not sure exactly what you'll have. You always find like these random interesting gems, but I've got a couple of weird random things as well this time. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
excited about that. So
I
did you get to
know.
see anything?
I did not. I kind of the only 2 things came out this week, and that was
Mhm.
the new horror movie Together, which I'm kind of interested in, but it wasn't enough to actually go to the movies to go see it. And the same with the Naked Gun remake.
Mhm.
Again, I'm interested in it, but I don't know if I'm interested enough to go. Um, but next week for sure I'll be going to the movies because next week is Weapons.
Weapons. Oh my god, I am so
Finally.
excited. Like wild
Yes.
horses cannot keep me from this movie. I
Yeah.
feel the same way about Together. I'm interested in it, but I can wait. And Naked
Yeah.
Gun, I know I'll enjoy it, but I don't need to see that in the theater.
Yeah.
But
The
Weapons, oh yeah, you better believe it.
the most interesting news that came out of the whole Naked Gun thing is that Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are dating now.
I saw that. Isn't that sweet? I think
That
that's
is very sweet. Like he has been like he had like after the death of his wife Natasha Richardson, he dated some other woman for like 2 years,
mhm,
but then hasn't dated anybody since. And so I think it's kind of sweet that he's like found somebody else to hopefully, you know, re like, to repair a little bit of that, and then she
mhm.
needs somebody kind of stable because she's been through so much. I was looking through her
Right.
like relationship history, and holy hell, that was a lot.
I mean,
So
Tommy Lee alone
Tommy
was
Lee,
bad.
Kid Rock, and she married Rick Salomon twice.
Oh,
It's
dirtbags,
like,
all of them.
yeah. So,
So
so
hopefully this is
hopefully,
a
fingers crossed that they found each other and that
yeah.
they can find happiness with each other.
It's real cute to
So
see them too, because 'cause
it
I've
is
seen
very
a lot
cute.
of, like, press around it, and they've done, like, a little letterbox, thing
Oh, I
together,
haven't
and
seen
that's
that
so
yet.
cute.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
so it you could tell they're making goo goo eyes at each other. It's really adorable.
That's
Um,
awesome. Great.
but yeah.
But yeah, why don't you go first? What do you got for me this week?
So the first thing I wanna talk about is a really cute trailer. It's not a horror movie, it's actually more of an action heist movie. I don't know if it's on
Okay.
your list.
I think
Um,
this one's on the top of
is
my
it
list.
Eenie Meanie?
Eenie Meanie.
Oh,
Yep.
we can both talk about it then.
Yeah,
Um, it looks so cute, and I mean, it's
it
Samara
does.
Weaving's the star.
Samara Weaving,
I'm
yeah.
already there, but,
Yep.
the synopsis is a former teenage getaway driver is dragged back into her unsavory past when a former employer offers her a chance to save the life of her chronically unreliable ex-boyfriend. This looks like a lot of fun. My son called it female baby driver. But it does look quirky and funny enough. We've got Steve Zahn, we've got Andy Garcia, we've got Randall Park. I don't know the gentleman that's playing her
Yeah, I
boyfriend,
don't know who
Carl
he is
Bluesman.
either.
I don't know what he's been in, but it just looks funny. They've got this heist that they have to pull off, and she's a badass driver, and she's driving away from cops, and I don't know. I'm super excited to see. I like heist movies anyway, and this one just looks like a
Yeah,
lot of
same.
fun.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely interested in this one, especially with Samara Weaving being in it. That's she's always a huge draw. Um, and it says it's from the guys who wrote Deadpool. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and
Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Yeah.
the poster for it kinda resembles Baby Driver too. They know what they did when they made that poster because it looks very similar, the color and the way that they have everybody laid out on that poster, but like I said, this trailer looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Obviously, from the looks of it, her and the ex-boyfriend are probably gonna get back together, but maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah. So apparently Carl Glusman, he is he's been in the Gaspard Noé movie Love, but he's also been in The Neon Demon and Nocturnal Animals.
Nocturnal Animals is what I know him from. I've never seen Love. I need to
I
go back and
haven't
watch
either.
that
Apparently,
one.
it's a very controversial movie.
Yeah.
So, let's see. He was previously in. Oh, he's going to be in The Running Man. Also, he was in
Oh, nice.
Civil. Yeah, he was in Civil War as well. So he's been in some stuff. So he's definitely been around a bit. But yeah, I did not recognize him. Apparently, he was married to Zoe Kravitz for a while too.
Ah, I could see
So
that. I could see
yeah.
that.
So
But yeah, that
no,
one
yeah,
looks like a lot of fun. It's
yeah.
coming out, August 22nd, I think, on Hulu, so that should be a
Yes.
lot of fun.
All right. Yeah, definitely looked interesting. I was like, okay, I'm sold. I love a heist movie. I love
Mhm.
Samara Weaving. I'm in. Um, so, I can't wait for Ready or Not 2. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right. So my first one, now that you've done Eenie Meanie, because that was my first one as well. Um, there's a new movie called Twinless that's coming out. That one stars Dylan O'Brien and another guy. Um, but they like Dylan O'Brien is a twin, and he loses his twin brother, and I it looks like he goes to a support group and he meets this other guy who also has lost his twin. And then they connect and become friends, and then shit gets weird.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, it starts out as all this like I was like, oh, this is a cute movie about like two guys connecting and like um and becoming friends, becoming brothers on their own, but then like the other guy like stuff starts getting weird. And it starts becoming more of a like a thriller type thing. And I'm like, okay, okay, this looks actually more interesting than it was to start out with. So
Huh, I'll
um
have to check that trailer out. I haven't seen Dylan
yeah.
O'Brien do anything since those Maze Runner movies.
Yeah, yeah, he's been in stuff. He's been popping up and stuff, but like it's definitely his star faltered, and that's I think mostly because he got hurt on the in the making of the third Maze Runner movie,
Mhm.
and that probably I think derailed his star going up as much as it did for a little bit. So, um, but he's a great actor. I've always loved him. I've enjoyed his work since Teen Wolf. So. Uh, but yeah, it looks pretty good. What's your next thing?
Oh, so my next thing is, well, actually, you brought it up before, but there is a final Alien Earth trailer that's out,
Mm,
and that's coming out August 12th. So this one goes in a little bit more in depth. We get to see that there are different animals that Wayland Yutani has been working on with this particular alien, and it looks like it's going to be action packed. Like
yeah.
I'm assuming from this trailer, they give you a lot, but more than likely, this is either gonna be in the very first episode or the first couple of episodes. Because I don't know how they're gonna stretch this out, but I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out. But it's very creepy. We get to see a lot of kind of sorta xenomorph prototypes, um, heavily on the whole military aspect of these space marines, and
Mm.
I am here for all of this. I'm
Yeah.
just here for all of this because this is taking place, before the events of Ripley and the Nostromo
Yeah.
crew. So I'm ready to get the lore of all of this and, to see how much of a dirtbag company
Yeah.
Weyland-Yutani is. Like, we already know they're the scum of the earth. Like, the aliens are scary, but these people are the worst. Billionaires are
Yeah.
always the worst. So, um
Right.
I corporations too, they're the worst, so but this one looks really interesting, it's definitely got me intrigued that we have a lot of synthetic people that have their, consciousness uploaded in synthetic bodies, and, I don't know, I'm here for it. Noah Hawley is always doing, like, really amazing and unique things, so if you haven't
He's
seen
doing interesting stuff. It doesn't always work, but it he's
it
always
doesn't
trying
always work.
something new. Yeah.
But every time Fargo comes out, I'm excited. I don't care what it is,
I
and
need
there's
to catch
something
up with that show because I've only
you
watched the first
really do.
season of it. Yeah. Yeah,
Every
and I love
season
the
is
original
different.
movie, and I thought the first season was great. I just haven't caught up. Yeah.
Yeah, every season is different. Sometimes we're in modern times, sometimes we're in a different time period, and I think that's why I love it so much
Yeah.
because we might be in the '60s, we might be in 2010s, we just don't know. But this is definitely one I'm excited for, so another week or so, I get to actually enjoy it. I'm sorry. I'm so in love with the Alien franchise. I know, that's not your bread and butter, but it is definitely mine, so I'm
I'm
ready.
definitely gonna check it out. Because I'm enough of a fan of the alien stuff that I try to go see most of the stuff. Again,
Mhm.
I think the only thing I haven't seen alien stuff is Covenant. And I'm gonna get around to that eventually. Um, but yeah, that's the only thing. And I love that they're bringing more of this back out. Um, like more alien stuff, more
Mhm.
predator stuff. Like, it was people were concerned that once Disney bought out Fox, that they wouldn't be investing in this material anymore. And they not only are investing in it, but they're like investing in it big time. So it's good to see that. And of course, it's because it makes money and they're smart. Disney's like, oh,
Yeah.
we have the Alien and Predator franchises now. Yeah, we're gonna do something with that.
Yeah, we're,
So
like, already getting ready for our rewatch of all of the movies to get ready for the show, so that's what's planned in our house, currently.
yeah.
We're just trying to figure
Oh,
out
that
when we're
reminds me.
gonna do that.
That does remind me. Since that was brought up, they have recently gone back and re-edited the ending of Predator: Killer of Killers.
I saw that. Oh my gosh. I was so excited when I
I was like, "What the fuck, man?" So I heard about it and I was like, "No, they didn't." And I went and rewatched the very ending. It's the after credits or the mid credit sequence or whatever. So and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. You got to
I'm
watch the
not gonna
movie
spoil
number
it
one.
either, but you and I are definitely
But
gonna talk about that afterwards.
yes, we are, because I meant to talk to you about it. I was like, "Oh my god."
My
But
jaw was
yeah,
on the floor. I was like, "Oh my
yeah.
god."
So yeah, they've re-edited it to add some stuff. But yeah, but I'm excited because it's like, whew, we're living in great times
Mhm.
right now. So if you're a fan of movie shit like we are,
Exactly.
so all right. So my next thing is there's a new movie called Whistle that is coming out, starring Daphne Keane. And the premise is a group of high school misfits inadvertently come across an ancient Aztec death whistle. Blowing it summons their future deaths to hunt them down. As the body count increases, they investigate the artifact's history in hopes of halting the sequence of events they have set into motion. So, very interesting movie. It's got Daphne Keane and also Nick Frost. So,
Yeah,
I,
I
I
saw this
was
trailer and it looks very interesting. I I
yes,
I love a new horror, urban legend kinda thing.
yes,
Plus, it's nice to see Daphne Keane in something other than the Marvel stuff. I do love her in
exactly.
those, but this is gonna be nice to see. I know the director that did this directed The Nun, that the spinoff from the
Yes.
Conjuring movies. Um, and I think he is gonna be directing the newer, um, Conjuring film, I wanna say. Let me look that up. Anyway,
No, it doesn't look like it. It might be somebody else. He did a movie called The Hallow, then he did The Nun, and then he's doing The Whistle, and then that's
The
it.
Whistle, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I don't know why I
The
got that
Whistle.
confused, but,
Yeah.
um, I like The Nun okay. I thought it was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. I mean, but that's how I feel about most of the Conjuring universe movies. They're not
Mhm.
terrible, they're just okay. So I'm not a huge Conjuring universe fan in general. But Whistle looks good. This movie Whistle looks good with Daphne Keane and Nick Frost. Yeah, like you said, I'm happy to see Daphne Keane, get I'm sure she's been doing work. I just haven't seen it
Mhm.
outside of the Marvel universe, the MCU, and obviously she was in The Acolyte. She's a great character in The Acolyte.
She really was, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So so it's good to see her stretch out into other stuff, especially some horror. So that's really cool. So
Mhm.
all right, what else you got?
So, the last few things aren't trailers, they're just some new horror news. It
Okay.
does we will be getting a Hostel TV series, coming to Peacock, and
Okay.
it's actually gonna be starring Paul Giamatti. I don't know if he's the one running the hostel or if it's gonna be, like, tales about Hostel, but,
Right.
um, this is a series. Do I think Hostel needed a TV series? No. No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I also didn't think that, the It needed a series, but I'm definitely gonna watch it
I
because
was
I
just going
wanna
to mention that the
yeah.
the the that new trailer for Welcome to Derry came out.
I mean, I feel like the Welcome to Derry, at least that makes more sense because this Pennywise has been an evil force throughout this whole
Exactly.
town. So that makes a lot of sense. But did I think it needed a series? No. I honestly don't know how I feel about a Hostel TV series, but we'll see. We already know what happened to Chucky. I don't know if this is gonna be one that's gonna last.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll check it out because I really do love Paul Giamatti. I literally
Oh,
can
I
watch the
love
man
Paul
do
Giamatti.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like it's so weird too because he's one of those actors who was like everywhere
Mhm.
for like the longest time, and he's still been working consistently this whole time. But like he went out of like favor in terms of like I guess the bigger movies or whatever that I was seeing him in all the time. So, um, but yeah, no, I'm just like, all right, I don't know about this show. We'll see, but I'll probably wait until I hear enough about people talking about it, seeing if it's
Exactly.
any good to just go, okay, then I'll do it. But yeah, I mean, him being a part of it definitely helps. I try not to support Eli Roth too much,
Mhm.
because he's not the greatest person, but
I agree.
but again, I'm much more about like always understanding the nuance of there's more than just one person involved in these projects.
Mhm.
And if there's somebody involved that I do want to support, then I'll do that. So but yeah, so real quick, as you mentioned, there is a new trailer for It Welcome to Derry that expands a little bit on it, being uh this is set in 1962, and it just tells the previous incarnation of Pennywise uh attacking the town of Derry. And from what I understand is every subsequent season is going to go back 27 years. So
Oh,
then the
that's
next
cool.
yeah, the next one will be in like what 35, and the next one will be in whatever 08 or whatever. So it'll be subsequently going back farther and farther. From what I understand, that's their idea for it. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, but it would be kind of cool to see how far back they could go before they have to stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, seems very interesting. Definitely, I would love to see as far back as they get, because I mean, you see glimpses of it in the It movies.
Mhm.
Um, and so it'd be cool to see how far back they can go with it.
I think
So
they did the smart thing too, one, by having it go back every 27 years and also keeping it focused on the kids. Because for me,
yeah,
it part 1, the kid portion has always been the
Oh,
better
it's always the
part.
stronger portion. Yeah,
Yeah,
in both the movie one and even in the miniseries version from the
right.
90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the part that we, the viewers, get, at least as far as I'm concerned, I get more invested in the children part,
right.
not so much the adults. Because it's interesting to see how these children combat this evil entity, with just their wits and standing together, and that's a smart choice. I'm super excited. Plus, we get a lot more kids of color in this
Yeah,
iteration, as opposed to just being Mike and him being the only black kid. And it
yeah.
looks like a lot of black families are in this version, and that there's a lot of stuff going on. The trailer's completely creepy. I mean, let me let me just
Yeah.
say, when they have these people smiling and the ghoulish grins, oh my God, it is unnerving to see this.
Yeah, you just don't like creepy smiles.
I
It's already
don't.
been well
I
established.
don't. I really don't, man. I'm gonna need a freaking Xanax to get through these shows, but, it's just
That's so
it
funny.
it is what it is, but, I mean,
Right.
that's part of what I like, though. If it can make me scared, then it's doing a great job, because very little
Exactly.
gets me nervous or scared, so I'm like you, I'm excited. This is coming out in what, October on HBO, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm not positive. So soon, soonish.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more once it hits.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
all right, what's your next thing?
So the last thing I have is, director Casper Kelly. If you're not familiar with Casper Kelly, he did a viral sensation, an 11-minute short called Too Many Cooks, which
Oh, right. Okay.
really was disturbing and odd, and I absolutely love him. He also directed the Yule Log, which
Right.
was a little short mini movie, and Yule Log 2. He's actually coming out with a full length horror film called Buddy. Um, don't really know anything about the plot. They've kept that under wraps so far, but we do know that Kristen Milioti and Topher Grace are going to be in this film. So
Okay.
I'm excited. His horror movies are weird. They don't make any sense, but they make perfect sense. Too Many Cooks was one of those things I could not get out of my head, and I would routinely watch it and go, "Why doesn't he make a movie?" And then he made the Yule Log movie, and I'm like, "Why doesn't he make a movie?" You know?
Right.
So I did cover Yule Log and Yule Log 2. Those movies are just bonkers as hell, and are now a Christmas staple now. I have to watch it every December, but and I need to get
I've
the
not seen
physical
the second
copies.
one. Yeah.
The second one is like a Hallmark fever dream. It is the weirdest horror movie you will ever watch. I didn't think he could top the Yule Log, but he did top it with Yule Log 2.
That's funny.
So, that's my thing that I'm focusing on. I cannot wait, because I was hoping he'd make a feature-length film, and he did. So,
That's cool.
yeah, super
All right.
excited.
All right. Well, I only have a couple more things. One is the most important of these two things is there's a new Humble Bundle out featuring comic books by Mark Miller, who's best known for writing the Civil War miniseries for Marvel and Old Man Logan.
Mhm.
He did the Ultimates for the Ultimate Universe. So he's done a lot of stuff. But he does a lot of creator owned work as well under his Millarworld umbrella, which started out, I believe, um, either through Icon or through Image. And then, well, when he started it out, it kind of he threw it to a bunch of different places, but ended up mostly at Image for a long time, and then has since recently shifted over to Dark Horse Comics. And that's where this bundle comes from, is from Dark Horse Comics. So it's only the Miller World projects that he has currently released through Dark Horse. So a lot of his earlier stuff like Kick Ass and Wanted and a bunch of those other things. Well, Wanted is part of this. But some of those other ones like Kick Ass and The Kingsman and some of the other stuff that's been
Mhm.
changed into stuff is not part of this. Um, but the Magic Order and Wanted is part of one of them. The Ambassadors, kind of just more recent stuff that he's had actually reprinted, and newer titles that he's done through here are in this bundle.
Oh.
So it's not a huge bundle. Like I said, it doesn't encompass his whole Miller World stuff, but it's got a good portion of stuff. It's got like 27 things in it. Some of them are individual issues, but most of them are collections. Um, and so it's a good, I've felt like it was a good deal. If you like Mark Miller's work, it's kind of give or take here and there. Wanted is like when you go back and read it now, like at the time when it first came out, it was like, ooh, it's so edgy and cool and everything like that. But now reading it, it just it's like, oh, it's so edgy and cool. It's like it just like smacks of like that early 2000s like edginess.
Hmm.
That was just like edgy for no reason. But like somebody on Reddit mentioned and stuff like that, his other stuff is considerably softer, more like I don't know. It's not. I hate to keep using the word, but it's not as edgy.
Hmm.
So, but yeah. I mean, check it out. It's a really. Yeah, I thought it was a good bundle. Um, I hope that maybe in the future they'll do another bundle once more of his other stuff has been reprinted through Dark Horse. Because that would be cool as well.
Yeah, it
So
sounds like a really good bundle.
yeah. Last thing I want to mention is I've been sucked into this YouTube channel called Bullets and Blockbusters. And basically what it does is um the guy who runs it talks about a project that didn't happen, like Tim Burton's third Batman movie or Scott Derrickson's second Doctor Strange movie, stuff like that, where he'll explain what happened to make it not happen, and then what could have been if it had happened. Um, so it's a fascinating like little trip through each one of these movies, and he goes through a lot of different movies, not just Marvel and DC. He's done stuff on Terminator movies that didn't happen, and Godfather 4 one I just watched
Oh my
recently.
God.
Yeah, so like all kinds of stuff. And like with the Godfather 4 one, he went through the history of all the variations of what could have happened with the original three movies as well. And then what did happen, and then what could have happened for a potential fourth movie that never happened. So and why it never happened. So I don't know. I find it a fascinating. It's great to just kind of sit here and watch those. I got sucked into those, and that's all I've been watching the last few days. It's just been I was going back through my YouTube watch history because that's what I do to make sure like to check out which trailers I watched over the course of the
Right.
last week. And then I was like, oh my God, there's so many of these. I've watched so many because they can range anywhere from like 10 minutes to like over 20 minutes. So just, get invested. Is what I was mentioning recently on my Discord as well, was that this is what I've been doing in lieu of watching like TV shows, because they're roughly the same range if you figure 20 to 30 minutes, but sometimes they're as quick as 10 minutes. So they're great for that kind of thing where there's just a really good quick watch. Um, and I don't have to get sucked into something where I have to pay full attention to it. But I will say I pay full attention to these because I get sucked into, oh, that's interesting. So definitely check it out. It's called Bullets and Blockbusters, and I'll have a link in
Yeah.
the show notes for
I'm actually typing that on my phone right now so I don't
it.
forget.
Yeah, no, it's a really good channel. It's one that I've recently just really like I they would pop up now and again, and I'd watch one here or there, but like lately I've been like really getting into it because it's like one of them was like uh the what happened to the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman movie, like what could have been and why it never came together and everything. So I just love that. I just love how much of that just I love movie shit like that. So, but anyway, That is all I have for today. But before we move on to the rest of the episode and start talking The Sixth Sense with Angel Krause, why don't you let us know what's going on your show this week?
You know what? I have no idea, buddy.
You never have an idea anymore.
I got into a habit of making themes, and I would just say it's another summerween movie. And
Okay.
the reason I'm saying that is because I record a lot, and it depends on what I get edited in time. So that's
Right.
why I never know. I never know. I usually pick the shortest one and go from there. So it really it really depends, but it'll be a short new episode out. Let's just leave it at that.
There you
I'll
go.
just say that.
All right. Sounds good. I'm sure it'll be something interesting, like the last one. I don't remember what it was now, but but I
I was
remembered.
just
I remembered after you dropped out. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like a cool one. So I'm sure you have fun with a lot of these. So that's all that matters, and that's all that matters with all of these. Like I will say, like, and we've mentioned before, like our audience is probably fairly small compared to other things.
mhm.
But that's for me, that's not what's important. What's important
No.
is one, getting to talk to you every week, and two, getting to talk to other people about interesting movies and just having a good time.
Yeah,
Like
man.
that's all that matters to me.
I just like to dork out about horror movies, I'll be honest
Exactly.
with you. And talking to you, once a week, that really gives me a chance to not talk by myself. So,
Yeah.
that like you said, I don't care that I don't really have a lot of people listening. Whoever's listening, I appreciate each and every one of the 5 people.
Right.
But it's fun. It's fun to talk about movies and all of the cool things that we love about them. So, that's why I
Absolutely.
like doing it. But
Yeah, same. Very much. All right. Well, thank you again. And of course, we'll be seeing you next week. And until then, stay creepy. On today's episode, we're starting a new series on M Night Shyamalan and kicking it off with returning guest Angel Krause and The Sixth Sense. Angel is the host of the Voices from the Mausoleum YouTube channel, which I've been on several times. Welcome back to the show, Angel.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. We were just
Yeah,
saying we haven't talked in forever, so I'm
I
excited.
know. I know. Even it's so funny because even outside of our shows, we're both, I know you're
Yeah.
busy, so I try not to harass you too much. And I know you're
Oh, please.
because you're busy, I don't expect you to like harass me that much, but I, but we literally live in the same state and very near to each other too, and we
Really
never see
close.
each other and never talk
Really
to each
close.
other.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
have actually seen each other in person and had a cool hangout and everything. So
Yeah.
I love that. So, and I'd love to just come and hang out again sometime. That'd be awesome. So,
Yeah. We should. We should definitely
yeah.
do something.
Today we're starting a new series. I'm doing a whole series on M Night Shyamalan movies. I'm not doing 3 of his movies. Just to be upfront about it, I will not be doing The Happening, The Last Airbender, or After Earth. So if you're interested in any of those, don't listen. I mean, you're not going to hear them. So go someplace else for those. Mostly just because I haven't seen the last two, and I really don't want to rewatch the Happening. So. I'm gonna be honest. I just don't care for that movie.
I
All
like
the
that
other
one.
that's fair. It's fair if people like it. I didn't dig it, and so I just don't really want to rewatch that one.
Yeah.
But all the rest of them I think are great. Good to great, and good enough to talk about. So.
Yeah.
I really and especially this one, this first one, The Sixth Sense. I literally just rewatched this just before we started, and it had been a few years since I'd last
Mhm.
seen it,
Yeah.
and damn, it still hits hard. It is such a good movie,
Yeah.
and people like you really like I'm old enough to have seen it in 1999 in the theater when it came out, and it's to tell you 99 was a great year for film. I mean, you're talking The Sixth Sense, Blair Witch Project, The
Hmm.
new Star Wars, don't get me wrong, Phantom Menace is kind of bleh, but a new Star Wars was a big deal.
Yeah.
Um, you had The Matrix, Fight
Yeah.
Club, all kinds of crazy transformative movies were coming out that year.
Yeah.
Um, and just, being that Sixth Sense was so big, so huge, and um just crazy, crazy good. I think it was the biggest, the most successful horror movie up until the first It movie unseated it. And so that was a good almost 20 years that it
Yeah.
held that title. And it had taken the title from Jaws, which had held it previously. So it's just crazy, and it dominated the DVD rentals and sales for that year.
Yeah.
It's just to tell you just how crazy big this movie was. If you don't understand unless you were there. Unless, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Blair Witch. You don't understand how big Blair
It's
Witch
hard
was.
to, yeah.
Yeah, and how big of a cultural landmark it was. And I think that's the same thing. People joke about M Night Shyamalan these days, but it's because this movie was so big and so um
Yeah.
what it was. So,
Yeah.
but but let's get into it. Let me hear your like kind of thoughts and feelings about the movie as a whole.
Yeah. I actually I talked, so was it last year was the 25th anniversary, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, so last year was the 25th anniversary, and I actually got to talk about it on another show we were doing. They try to do like anniversaries, big anniversaries, and we talked about it. And I think one of the things that I think stands out even now, this has not lost any rewatchability for me. It's
Mm-mm.
still uncomfortable, it's still sad, it's still unsettling. I mean, obviously the massive twist is something that you've gotten, already from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it does change the viewing a little bit, but it hasn't changed that like that grit that it has. And then you think like fast forward to like now, and I think about like all the stuff that Tony Collette has done since this
Oh my
movie came
gosh,
out,
yeah.
and I forgot until I revisited it for the 25th anniversary conversation. I completely spaced that that was who played the mom. Like I'd never thought about it. And
Right.
we were on the video, and they were like, "Oh yeah, and Toni Collette," and I'm like, "Who was she in The Sixth Sense?" And then I was like, "Oh my God, she was the mom." But no, I have a
That's
lot of
so
love for
funny.
this. I did watch it as a rental in the year that it came out. I was a little too young to go see it in theaters, but my parents rented it and we watched it. And it's one of the few memories, one of only like two or three memories I have in my life of watching a horror movie and it just destroying me mentally. Like I couldn't sleep. I didn't want to go to bed. I was scared. I was uncomfortable because at that time, let's see, 99, I was 11. Um,
Yeah.
and I loved it. Like I mean, even at that age, I was like, this is cool. Like, but I was super scared. Like it
Yeah.
scared me so bad. And to the point where like I was like arguing with my parents about not wanting to go to bed. And so that's kind of like when I think of it, I think about that. I think about the visuals, I think about the acting, I think about these lines that we would say to each other
Hmm.
in random conversations for no reason at all, just because it was a popular line. Like, I see dead people. My sister and I would say
Yeah.
that to each other all the time, whether it was relevant to anything or not. You just walked around and you just said these things. And
Right.
anyway, but it's such a great movie. I think it's such good storytelling. It was, like I said, it's emotional. There's parts in this that, on a rewatch now hits very differently than when I watched it when I
Hmm.
was 11, because I'm a parent now. Like
Yeah.
life is just different, right? And so, but it's crazy to me that that's how long it's been out, and it has not lost any of the oomph that it had the first time I watched it.
No, I can tell you, I've rewatched this movie plenty in
Yeah.
the early days after it come out, because
Yeah.
pre-Netflix, all pre-streaming,
Yeah.
you would buy the movies you liked
Mhm.
and you would rewatch those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nowadays I find myself not rewatching so much of the stuff because I have so many other things to watch, as well as so many other things I own at this point now too.
Sure.
especially on digital or something like that. So whenever I pop something on, I don't tend to pop on, Sixth Sense because I've seen that a lot over my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so, it had been a few years since I had seen it. And yeah, you're right. It lost none of its emotional punches.
No.
It was still like there were times where I was near tears in this.
I know.
I think it on it, and to be fair, I was a grown ass adult when this movie came out. I had a 2-year-old son when this movie
Yeah.
came out. So, you make me feel old. And then
Sorry.
which you always do every time we talk.
I'm sorry. You wanted
But
to know like first like
no,
when we
no,
saw,
no. It's just because I am old. It's okay. But no, I think that's what's interesting to me too is like even when I saw it for the first time,
Mhm.
it was emotional, but like I don't even think it hit as hard then as it does now. I think it's also because I've gotten like more, I guess, I don't know. I've gotten more weepy in my old age. Like there are things I watched every movie I watch these days that has any kind of emotionality to it. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Um, and so I mean, there were
That's me with
definitely,
everything I watch, so I
oh
totally
yeah.
understand. But I've always been that way. I've always been like that.
Well, I've always been susceptible to it. I just, I'd get teary-eyed but never cry. But now I get even worse, and I'm like, oh my God, I need tissue. I'm crying so much. What I'm trying to think of a movie I just saw recently. Not recently, but recently enough. There was something my daughter and I were just blubbering at in the theater. We were just like, oh my God, why was this so upsetting? Um,
Aw.
but um, but yeah, this movie is just it's lost nothing. It is just like, and I think and it's really kind of cool too to watch the fact that it is now such an old movie that now there's whole generations of people now watching it for the first time,
Yeah.
and getting those surprises and stuff. And so I love that it's gotten far enough away from it now
Hmm.
that people don't talk about it anymore about the surprise in
The
it.
ending. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now people can actually like watch it for the first time and still get that shot because like for years afterward, everybody got spoiled on it. And so
Somebody, God, I know somebody that it did get spoiled for. I can't remember who it
mm,
was, but somebody did tell me, and I was like, "You've got to be joking!" Like,
yeah,
of all the movies, of
yeah.
all the crazy endings, especially in horror, it's like that one was spoiled. But
Well, and
I, yeah,
yeah, and I think that even if you get spoiled on that indie, I think you still owe it to yourself to watch the movie. Because I think that the movie is so good, the performances are so good
yeah, I don't think
on
it
from
really.
everybody that I think you really owe it to yourself. The story's so good that you just need to watch it if you haven't seen it. And especially if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't watched it, stop, go back, listen to it, or watch it, and then come back and listen to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, we'll
Yeah.
stop. We'll wait for you right here. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that, overall it's such a good movie. Like just rewatching it today was just like, wow, this is just and just yeah, like you said with Toni Collette, she's so magnificent in this movie. And this is
Oh,
early on in her career.
yeah.
Um, and just to see her, I mean, she got the Oscar nomination for this uh when she did it. So I mean, like, the fact that she got that way back then, and she's still not getting the Oscar, is just kind of like,
Yeah.
because she should have gotten a nomination for Hereditary. Um,
Yeah.
I'll forever die on that hill. Um,
I think you're not in the minority on that. I think a lot of people feel that way.
yeah.
She's the
Um,
standout for a lot of people in that film, I think.
yeah, exactly.
But she's
Um,
great in this. The
oh,
car
she's
scene,
so
like
good.
with the where he tells her
Oh my
about the
God.
pendant, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my God. Yeah, it's she does a
yeah.
great job, but and I think the other thing is like, especially when you consider the time frame in which this came out, right? I don't know that horror moms are usually very good moms. I feel like a lot of times they're very like dismissive or they are the scary part or
Yeah.
so the fact
Or
that
just
this was
absent.
it
Yeah.
just totally yeah, exactly. And I think that or they they don't believe anything the kid says
Yeah.
whereas this was she did such a great job at conveying the struggle of wanting to be a good mom. It was
Yes.
important to her to be like the scene at the birthday party comes to mind, and just these moments where she's like begging to understand him so she can be a better mom and
You're
be what
right.
he needs. And I don't know that anything I've seen horror wise, even since that came out, I just don't know that I've seen anything that where that type of dynamic was this well served. Like this
Right.
was, I'm a good mom. I have got to be there for him. I need to be a good mom. And I just thought that is, like I said, watching it now, very different energy
Yeah.
than watching it prior. But it just, that's what sticks out to me about her is it's just, you feel her frustration with herself for not being able to do more and not knowing what to
Yes.
do. And I think that that
But
ties
that's
into
like,
what you
yeah.
were saying about the
And
story and the emotions and everything else that makes this movie as strong as it is.
right. And that just speaks to parents in general. Like no matter as a parent, like I said, I only had a 2-year-old at the time. So I didn't have that, even that kind of, I think that's probably why it hits me harder now is because I have gone through that kind of stuff where as a parent, you want to support your children, you want to listen to them, you do your best, and that there
Yeah.
are times where you fail or that you can't make that connection with your kid and you feel like you're failing them. And just yeah, just that
Yeah.
whole thing is just so like emotional now
Yeah.
that it's it's masterful. She does such
It's
and
so
I mean
good.
and that goes into Shyamalan's writing as well. Like I mean that is
Yes.
the writing of somebody who like I don't know how old his kids were at the time that he made this. And you know, because now his kids are making movies of their own.
Yeah.
And so I am just amazed by the writing, by the performances. Um, you know, it's you talking about performances and Haley Joel Osment as Cole. He carries this movie.
Yeah.
I mean it's a I mean he's the supporting actor to Bruce Willis, but like I feel like he's really the star of the movie.
I agree with that
Yeah.
tenfold.
And for a
Yeah.
kid of his age, because he was 11 at the time he made this,
Hmm.
just the weight of all of that, and he's so good in the role. I did find a little tidbit that this was the first of the this was the first movie that Michael Cera auditioned for. So that would have been an interesting, but
That's
you
hard
know
to even
he
imagine, honestly.
yeah. Well, there's a reason he didn't get it. So
Yeah,
I mean
because
he
you're right. Because Haley Joel, yeah, his performance in
oh
this is
man.
like, and he's like, I'm always impressed. Because here's the thing, like you watch a lot of horror, like we do. I feel like
Mhm.
you can understand, like, okay, kid actors can really make or break movies
Oh
because
yeah,
they
because
have to.
most
Because
of them are not good.
they're not
So
good.
no,
It's
they're
okay.
terrible.
They're cute. They're kids. We
Yeah,
get it, but they're
exactly.
not good. And
Yeah.
that's
But when you
But
get a good actor like
this
Haley,
was like
oh, it
another level
elevates it. Yeah.
so much. And even
Yeah.
the emotional stuff, like I couldn't have performed like that. I wouldn't have been able to
No.
cry or be like just everything that just that isolated feeling he made you
Hmm.
feel like he was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Oh,
just
just
very
all the emotion on his face
so right there
alone.
for sure.
He was
Yeah.
so good. He carried all that weight of that fear and and all the like it's like the fear, the scary fear, but also the fears that he was like letting down his mom, that his mom didn't love him because of how weird he was
He
and
was
everything
too
like
weird.
that. And just all of that was just and you gotta and there's another layer to it too. You know, I gotta spoil the ending to talk about this aspect of it. But because Malcolm was a ghost the whole time, every time he saw Malcolm, he knew he was a ghost.
I
So every
know.
time he popped in, so there was that fear that this ghost was gonna do something to him too, because he'd already had these negative experiences with some of the
Yeah.
ghosts. And so he was just like every time you saw him interact with Malcolm, there was still like a I gotta keep back because I don't know what this guy's gonna do to me. Um,
Hmm.
and so it's just the level of performance. There's some adults that can't perform as well as that. I mean,
That's true.
we have seen so many movies where people just cannot act and they're terrible at it. And then this kid who's 11 years old is acting circles around people.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing performance, and an Oscar nominated one at that too. He didn't win, but neither of them won for it. But it just oh man, just amazing, the performances.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally agree.
and then the last person to talk about really is Bruce Willis, who turns in a very understated, very like very I wouldn't even say against type because he has played low key
Hmm.
characters before, but it is very low key, very
Yeah.
somber, kind of like he's very sad. I mean,
He's
even
like in
Cole
a
remarks about,
daze, like a
yeah,
sad daze.
and I mean, when you find out about the end, you understand exactly why he
Why
was
he's
kind
like
of,
that the whole time. Yeah.
exactly. But there
Yeah.
is a sadness to him that even Cole remarks about,
Yeah.
that just he's walking through this world unhappy. And he thinks it's just because his marriage is on the rocks and he's trying to help this kid that, is very similar to this other kid, that he failed and that he feels like he failed. Um, and just, I don't know. It's such a great performance. It's something that, he doesn't do as often, I think, because he gets pigeonholed into the action stuff, but it's great when he does play kind of against that action type as well.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
it's
I
interesting
agree.
too. Yeah. It's interesting too because I don't think he was originally um up for the well, no. I think M Night said that he wrote the role with him in mind.
Hmm.
But he had to do this role because he was making a movie called Broadway Brawler or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And and I guess he was producing it as well as starring in it. And
Uh-huh.
he ended up firing like the director, a whole bunch of people, and it ended up
Oh.
going like, yeah, it ended up like being such a debacle that Disney ended up canceling the movie completely, and they were going to sue Bruce Willis for the money they lost on it. And so they were like, so Bruce Willis's agents managed to get this deal done that instead of doing that, he would star in 3 movies by them at a reduced rate. And then that way it would pay back that money. So they wouldn't have to pay out all this money.
Right, right.
This was one of the movies. The Sixth Sense was one of the movies that he had to do, which is great. Cost $35 million to make, made over 300 million domestically. So it blew up. It's huge, made tons of money for them. So
Yeah.
um
I
the
did not
second
know any of that.
yeah, the second movie he had to do was Armageddon, which also was huge for them.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
like, yeah, so 2 huge movies that he had to do for them, which turned out to be mega blockbusters for them. So,
Funny.
and then the last one was The Kid, which didn't do well at all.
Hmm.
And so it was, but the first two more than made up for the fact that he had to do those 3. But yeah, he had to do that to make up for that stuff. And it also turns out the guy at Disney who paid Shyamalan like think 2.5 to $3 million for the script, um, and signed a contract with him that he could direct it, and they couldn't buy out his contract to do it. That guy ended up getting fired by Disney because they were like, because he didn't get corporate's permission to do that. He was just like, we got
Oh
to get this now.
no.
Yeah. And it turns out to be a great for, well, it would have turned
Yeah.
out great for Disney. It would have turned out great for Disney, but the problem was they ended up selling off the um the rights to Spyglass Entertainment. And they kept 12.5% of the profits. So they made almost nothing on this movie,
Yeah.
that if they had kept the rights to it instead of just shuffling it off, they would have made much more money, but they were afraid of it and just like, okay, well, let's go sell it over here. They had no confidence in it.
That's
So
crazy.
it's all right. So, but yeah, no, some nice little trivia I had to throw out
I
there
had no
about
idea any of that.
the
It's funny because I was sitting here thinking as you were talking, I was like, I didn't know it was Disney. And then you said Spyglass, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember the
yeah. Well,
thing coming up, but I didn't know any of
Hollywood
that.
Pictures was his Hollywood Pictures was one of their under studios that
DBAs or
Disney
something.
owned. Yeah. Well, they would put out stuff that was more adult or like not Disney centric
Sure.
under like things like Touchstone or Hollywood Pictures.
Right.
So they had all these different various things. Miramax, they had bought
Oh
up
yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
could do Miramax stuff. So they would do that under these other umbrellas so that they could put out more grown-up movies. And but they would still get all the money from it. But yeah, it's a but interesting history to it, for sure. But this wasn't even M Night Shyamalan's first movie. He had made another movie that didn't do well before that. I think it was called Praying with Anger.
Yeah.
But he was also known as a writer. He'd written a few movies before that as well. But this was his first major writing and directing thing, and it just hit huge. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, his and this is what kind of like set his career in motion a lot, and like for his formula as well that people like or dislike, over the years. So
I know. I think well, I don't know. I don't remember everybody's like take on Trapped, but I typically disagree with people. Like, there's a lot of naysayers, I think,
hmm
regarding his like way of doing things. Like, there's other ones that I felt like were just so good, and I always felt like people just like hate them. And I'm
yeah,
like, there's other stuff besides like I don't remember the visit, for example, being very well received. Of course, some of that's probably because it's
no,
found footage. People love to hate found footage. And then the other one that I absolutely love that I feel like a lot of people hate is The Village. And I was like,
yes, yeah,
come on, are you
yeah.
kidding me? Like, it's so good. But I think like to your point, he did have, and then I think after a certain point, he did kind of break away from that. Like, I don't think like Trap, for example, that's off the top of my head 'cause it's the newest one I've seen. Um, or it's the newest one, is that like that really didn't follow the typical formula. I feel like you got a lot of that
It
information
doesn't
up
really
front.
have a huge twist to it.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
No.
No, I
No.
wouldn't say like, and
There's a
so
small twist at the end, but it's not even that like big of like it's a
no.
small twist.
It's not like these moments in the movie where he very clearly was trying to make people go, "Oh my god,"
Yeah.
like in The Sixth Sense, where I remember sitting in the living room with my parents watching this and my parents being like, "What?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?" Like, it was a big deal. Like,
hmm
this was at that time, at least for me, that I can, yeah, because the others came out much later, and so did Saw. So this was like the craziest twist that existed right at the time,
Right.
and it really set a precedent for horror that was a little more involved in storytelling for some people, I
Right.
think, because a lot of people I think were like, oh, it's a horror movie, it's not going to have any depth or layers, which isn't true about horror prior to The Sixth Sense, just
Yeah.
so I'm not confusing what I'm saying. But I think this was something that people gave a chance and were
Yeah.
surprised at what it was able to do as a horror movie specifically, because
Right.
I still feel like people are very mindful of like separating horror from other genres and putting it in its own little
Yes.
thing. Um, and this,
The
I think, kind of
thriller box
forced
or whatever.
people to be like, okay, like, I don't know how you can
Yeah.
watch this and just be like, yeah, all horror is the same. It's all cookie cutter, it has no depth. And then you see something like
Yes.
this and you're like, what? So
Well, and I
yeah,
think some people wouldn't consider this horror. They will consider this a suspense thriller or something like that
sure.
because it's not really, there's no really, there's maybe a couple of jumpy kind of scares,
There's
but not
definitely jump
really.
scares.
But
Yeah.
there's not like it's not on the par of like other things, and there's no gore, there's no, I mean there is, but there, I mean it's not like
That kid
in
with the head
no I
wound?
no I know, but I mean but you know what I mean by gore. I mean like limbs getting chopped off and the typical slasher style gore.
Yeah.
um but I do, I will say there's definitely feels like there's a demarcation between horror, and I think that it begins right around this time, like late 90s, maybe
Yeah.
from 2000-ish on. There's a cut before there's the 80s and 90s horror, 70s, 80s, 90s horror,
Yeah.
that you can kind of, there's a progression through that,
Yep.
but it all kind of feels of one note. And not in a bad
Mhm.
way. I'm not saying that there weren't other things that were part of that, because there
No,
were.
sure.
There's lots of colors of horror in there. But there was a difference between what came before and then what came after. And Sixth Sense does feel like part of that transitionary
Yes.
time where things moved into stuff that felt, and I think that's part of, and there were things before that, because you could say even Silence of the Lambs and other things like that kind of,
Yeah.
it's kind of what you would consider the beginnings of quote unquote elevated horror, um
Sure.
to a degree. I hate that term,
I know.
um
Yeah.
but it but
Yeah.
it to a degree it makes sense. There is a
Yeah.
version, there is a subset of horror that you can call elevated that is like that. Hereditary and Midsummer, all that kind of falls into that.
Yeah.
um Babadook, and think a lot of grief and trauma horrors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's but I agree. I feel like there's that little
Yeah.
demarcation there. But as for Shyamalan himself, yeah, he kind of, his first few movies, every movie was a twist, a twist, a twist,
At the
and
end.
yeah, at
Always
the
at
end,
the end.
a twist ending, twist ending, twist ending. And by The Village, I think it was one of those situations where, for me, because I watched The Village in theater when it came out. I was
Yeah.
huge. As soon as Sixth Sense came out, I became diehard M Night Shyamalan fan.
Same.
Every movie I went to, boom, like clockwork. As soon as they came out, I was there. And so when I watched The Village, it was like there was something so off about it, and I'll talk about it more in the episode I do with it, but there was something so
Yeah. Yeah.
off
Sure.
about it that during the whole thing of it, that I was just like, when the twist happened, I was like, oh, I knew it. And it was one of those ones
Yeah.
where I actually kind of guessed the ending. I didn't really know it, but I guessed the ending kind of ahead of time. And so I think that's where some people kind of got the same, and they were just kind of like, oh, they were tired of the twist endings, because they were just like, but for me, I was still on board. I was like, no,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
giving me
Yeah.
the twist endings, because those are fun. Like, why would you,
I like them because,
like,
well, it
why
makes
would
you,
you,
I feel like it makes you, you're trying to figure it out. So I feel
yeah,
like it changes kind of the movie experience. Like by the time I got to like The Visit, I had kind of forgotten about the formula. So then when The Visit comes in with its ending, I was like,
yeah,
holy, I was like, okay, I forgot who I was watching for a second. Like,
right,
because I think those two are the strongest twist endings, is this one and that one. I think were the two for me, at least, that were
yeah,
like really like, I think The Village, I knew a part of it in that I knew that there were certain things about it that weren't real or right or whatever.
yes,
But the whole like going over the fence thing, never in a
yeah,
million years, never.
yeah,
And it's got some incredible acting, like incredible
hmm,
acting. And so and I will watch anything, and I mean anything that Adrian Brody is in. I think he is such an underrated actor, and he did an incredible job in this or in that. And so I think that like
yeah,
I really like what he does. Shyamalan, I'm the same way. I saw this even at a young age. I was like, I want more stuff like this.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, when you're talking about the timeline of horror, horror goes through these patches where we get the mass produced stuff. We got a lot
yeah,
post Scream, we got a lot of teenage drama, slasher
yeah,
stuff. It was kind of oversaturated for a while, and then you get sick of it and you're like, all right, I want something different. And then every so often you have great minds that come up and they're like, I think I got something different. And then they do stuff like
yeah,
this. And it just
yes,
kind of revamps the idea of what horror can and can't be, even if you
exactly,
are a fan. And I think that's
yeah,
that's worth respect all the way across the board.
yeah. Well, I mean, it does what we hate to say. It elevates it.
It
It
does.
just,
Yes, it
it really
does.
does. I mean, it
You're
really
right.
elevates the genre in
Yeah.
in so many
No,
ways.
it does.
And I say that about, anything, like,
Yeah.
there's stuff that, I mean, I just watched the newest I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
say that elevates anything, but it's still a good fun movie, and like
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. But I think, going to what you were saying, I think the reason why you had forgotten about Shyamalan's twists and stuff like that was because he hadn't done it for a couple of
Yeah,
years
it'd been a
before,
while.
because he did Last Airbender and After Earth just before those, and those weren't horror centric or anything like that.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Visit
yeah.
was his return to horror. And people were kind of not expecting it because they were like, "Oh, what's this found footage? He's never done found footage before. What is this?" And then there was that great twist in it, and you're like, "Oh shit."
I know.
And
So
then,
good.
he's kind of
Ugh.
gone back to that where he does the twists, and it was great,
Yeah.
and he hasn't done it for every movie
No.
since then either. He picks and chooses when he does it. But I would say
Yeah.
overall, like, for me, the vast majority of his movies have been great.
I
Um,
agree.
the ones that I'm all covering, like I said, have been variations of good to great.
Uh-huh.
Some have worked better than others.
Sure.
All the ones I'm covering, I've enjoyed at least enough, that I definitely wanted to talk about them.
Yeah.
One of the things I do want to talk about in this movie, which is a part of what makes this movie so great too, is the music, the score.
Oh,
James
yeah.
Newton Howard's score in this is so good. Like, even when I first watched it, I was obsessed with the music. I was
Yeah.
literally listening to that score like afterward, like forever. And this was this was back in the days of Napster and stuff like that. So I
Yeah,
know I
yeah, yeah.
definitely like I know I definitely never owned it, but I listened to it
Yeah.
like on repeat. Like, I downloaded it and listened to it all the time because it was just,
Hmm.
oh my God, I love this score so much. And this and the score for, like, Unbreakable too as well. And I know I'll be talking about that in the next episode. But this score, oh my God, I can't even tell you just how good it is. It's such a great part of what makes the movie what it is. It just
Oh,
enhances it
yeah.
so well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. It's haunting. It's
It
it's just
is.
it's perfect in so many ways. Um, and just and another thing is the cinematography. The cinematography was Tak Fujimoto, who I
Hmm.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, he worked a lot with, let's see. I thought he had worked with Spielberg a lot, but he was a frequent collaborator with John Hughes and Jonathan Demme also. So
Oh, okay.
so he'd done a lot. And apparently he was one of the second unit cinematographers who worked on the first Star Wars film as well.
Oh.
So
Huh.
yeah, so he was um he's great. The cinematography in this is, and that's one of the things I always remember about watching these movies, is just how really excellent the visuals are.
Hmm.
Everything is
Yeah.
just so shot well, it's lit well, it's just perfect in so many ways. Um,
Yeah.
and that's like, for most, if not all, of his movies that I've enjoyed, the
Yeah, they always
cinematography
have
is
those
so
pieces
good.
down for
Yeah,
sure. And this was
yeah,
like too, like the whole red thing where it was like the glimpse of red was
yeah,
supposed to be the crossover between this side and that side of things. And like I'm telling you, and at the time that I watched this, obviously I was not really attuned to what that meant on a
yeah,
deeper level, obviously, because I was so young. But when I go back and think like the entrance of the mother in red,
yes,
I literally feel like I'm gonna throw up when that scene happens.
yeah,
I'm like, "This bitch." Like, I like, that happens, and especially knowing ho 'cause I've seen it before, and knowing what the red is like, this whole thing with it's like it's throughout the whole movie, and it's just like that was so deliberate, and it worked so well that it makes me
hmm
angry, which it's supposed to. It's
yeah,
supposed to invoke all the things, right?
yeah,
Um, but it's just that this thing, like, who does she think she is? Like, I hated that. In the
yeah,
best ways. It's so well done. But
yes.
but those notes and the zoom ins and the way that they camera angle, like some of the
Oh
movements up
man,
the stairs, and like the way, like it's just the in and out of the rooms sometimes was enough to be like the tent scenes, like that they I mean they
hmm
absolutely killed it with the way that this was shot
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, those zoom ins, that, yeah, I remember just every time those nice little like
Ugh.
slow zoom ins were so good.
And
Like,
but they gave you anxiety because you're like,
oh yeah,
because those things only happened when something was about to go off. And so you
right,
were, as a viewer, you're like, like I don't trust this, so
right.
you're like on edge watching, you're waiting, and then you add the music and it's everything. It's just like it's very
Yeah.
intense moments throughout the whole movie.
Well, and this is one of the things that I think that, makes him, at least with this movie and other movies as well, but I think specifically this movie feels like he definitely was a fan of Hitchcock. Um
I can see
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
just the suspense, the buildup of the suspense and everything like that, because Hitchcock was very known for being a master of suspense and
Yeah.
really just eking out every last little bit of dread that you could get. And so, and see, I will admit right here now that I'm not a huge fan of older movies.
Yeah.
Like for me, like stuff pre 80s, I'm always a little bit more iffy about. But Hitchcock is one of those guys, and like, don't get me wrong, I watch stuff all the time that's pre
I
80s.
love old horror
No,
movies. I love
no, and
them.
I'm
But I don't
yeah.
actually really like Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay then. But
I don't, I
well,
know that's gonna get me canceled, but I
no, that's
genuinely
fine.
like, I don't.
You'll hate me for this one, but I'm not a big fan of the Universal monsters. So, I mean,
What?
they're fine, but
I
like I
gotta
just
go. I go. I will not tolerate this
no,
slander.
no, no,
Look
no.
at
I'm not
this.
slandering it. I
You're
know.
crazy. Well, I know we're audios, but you know what I'm pointing at. I got my little wolf man up here. He's a
No,
little
no.
crooked because when I'm gaming and I get excited, I hit the shelf a lot. So like it's like things like this DVD will fall and hit me in the head. It's a whole thing.
That's so
Partner,
funny.
just concerned
Uh
for my
n-
well-being as I'm like screaming out the F word. But anyway, yeah. What?
no.
I'm so
No,
bothered.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. I look, I own the whole set of Universal Monsters, like the big 30 movie set on Blu-ray. So,
There's so many
um
of them.
I just like, I don't know. I've just never really connected with them. They're fine. But like I don't have the love for them like you do.
Well, I
Whereas
also like that was my intro to horror and it was something I did with my
yeah,
dad. So it's got a little more than just a movie kind of,
right.
I get
Yeah.
that. All right, I'll fine. I'll let it go this one time.
Well, even with Hitchcock, I love Hitchcock stuff, but I barely have any. I don't have anything actually physically currently, but I've got a
Yeah.
couple of his movies digitally.
Oh, okay.
So but like I would say I'm a much bigger fan of Hitchcock's than I would be of like the Universal monsters. But that's just to say that I just love the when somebody who is influenced by that, you can feel that.
See it. Yeah.
Maybe if you're not as attuned to Hitchcock's, filmmaking, then I can understand where you wouldn't see that necessarily. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, that's I always felt that with him, that Hitchcock was an influence.
Yeah,
Maybe not
visually I
fully
can see
directly.
that. I mean, I've
Yeah,
seen the movies. I'm just not a big fan.
yeah,
But yeah, I can
yeah,
see the way you can see that it's more of like an homage to and heavily
right,
influence certain things for sure. Yeah, I can see
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's one of the things, like it's interesting too, because I talk about there's definitely filmmakers that I feel have such a distinct style, of either in their writing or in their shot compositions or something like that. Somebody
Yeah.
like a Raimi, or um somebody else who's got a very distinctive style in their
Who's that
um
Italian guy everybody loves that does the
um
horror movies?
Dario Argento.
That's the one. I don't like that either. But yeah, that's the one.
I mean, yeah, I haven't really loved all of Argento's work. I do like Suspiria, um, but uh, but I'm thinking more modern. People
Oh,
like Raimi, like Edgar Wright, somebody like Wes Anderson. Those guys have a very distinctive style to both their shots and
yeah.
their overall filmmaking techniques. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like most people are generally kind of straight ahead, they're not doing bad jobs or anything like that, but I think most directors are just like, let's get good shots and whatever. But
Mhm.
I think that's what's interesting about Shyamalan is that he's definitely, I wouldn't say he's got a very distinctive visual style, but I think that what he does with his cinematographer is well done, both
Yeah.
in the editing and in the shooting of it itself. Um,
Mhm.
that there'd probably never be something where I go, oh, well, that's definitely a Shyamalan style, but
Right, no, I know what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah. Kinda like if you
but
see a body explode, you sort of just assume Radio Silence may have had a hand in it.
or Peter Jackson or something like that,
Well, in the
So
horror world, that's what I go to
yeah,
immediately. I'm like, I see
yeah,
a body explode, I'm like, "Were they involved?" It's become like a staple, it's like in all of their stuff lately, so
yeah,
anyway.
all of their
Mhm.
main stuff like
Yeah.
what's it called, Abigail
Abigail. Mhm.
and Ready Player One, or not Ready Player One, um Ready or Not. So
And 15, no, almost said the wrong movie. Found footage, The Making of the Patterson Project.
okay.
That's a new one. That one just came out. But yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
they they're kind of starting to get known for
For
that sort of thing.
explosions.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
too funny. All right, all right. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard. Like, I think we've hit most topics of this. I mean, the twist. Let's talk about the twist a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the twist is that, and we've already mentioned it, that Bruce Willis's character was dead all along. You see in the very beginning that he
He gets
gets
shot.
shot,
Yeah.
and you presumed that he got helped and he got better throughout the rest of the movie and that he
Sure.
was fine, but something after that point fractured his marriage.
Yeah.
Um, but you find out at the end that he's been a ghost the whole time and he only just realizes it. um and then it kind
Yeah.
of gives you a quick clips from the rest of the movie where it shows you all these bits that
You
you were just like,
realize,
oh
yeah.
my god, so this was, he was really a ghost the whole time, and it kind of
Yeah.
rocks your world. And you mentioned the whole red thing and everything. It was something that I didn't even catch at all in that first viewing, but
No,
then
no,
was,
no.
I think it was pointed out in like the special features or something about the
They did,
red. And
yes.
then
That's how I
yeah,
saw it, I think. Yeah.
and then I went back and I was like, oh my god, yeah, oh my,
It's
this is so
everywhere.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
um so yeah, it definitely, that twist was like everything back in the day. It was just such a great twist. um and it still stands as one of the best twists in a movie of all time. And like I said earlier, that I love that there are so many people who haven't seen it yet,
Mhm.
who haven't been spoiled by
Yeah.
people spoiling it, because it's gotten so old that people don't talk about it as much
It's not
anymore.
as common, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that people can actually go and revisit it, or go and see it for the first time and actually enjoy it and enjoy that twist. And I saw somebody say something where they had shown it to a friend, and they were like, well, I already know the twist is that the boy's dead the whole time. And they were like, so they were like, do you think I'll still enjoy it? And then they were like, yeah. And then they got to watch the whole movie and understood that the twist was different, so they got the actual
They
shock of
still
the,
got to have that feeling.
yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
So, but I can't think of anything else I really want to talk about it other than just go see it. Because I mean,
It's
go like
so
watch
good.
it at some point, because it's such a good movie if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it and it's been a while, go back and rewatch it
Go
because it's
revisit.
still so good.
So good.
Do you have anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to mention before we
No, I
end
think we
things?
naturally covered everything. I think it's really,
Yeah,
really good. It's a haunting movie.
it
It's
is
dark
very
in
haunting.
color in certain scenes and it's gritty and it's emotional and it's a lot of things that I think up until that point I didn't know horror could be. Genuinely. So
Yeah.
it really just changed a lot of that for me and seeing something that could feel emotional and all those other things and still be scary. I was very overwhelmingly impressed with this. It's to date still
Oh,
one of my
absolutely.
favorites. And definitely my favorite by him, of course. But no,
Yeah.
it's just a phenomenal movie, and it has withstood the hands of time. Like this has not aged at all.
Mm-mm.
There is no age to this
No,
because
it,
it's
it
like
definitely has a timeless quality to it.
it certainly does, not only from the concepts, but the effects as well. It's all just it's so well done in a way that it has not aged at all. And I mean, after we're on year 26, right? And it
26, yeah.
still is it looks just as good as it did when I watched it,
Yeah.
the first time. So yeah, super
Yeah.
good. Love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I very much
Oh,
appreciate it.
thanks for
Definitely have to get
having
you on
me.
again soon.
Yeah, just
Sooner
message
rather than
me.
later.
Yeah, it's never a harassment. You can message me whenever you want. No
Same, same.
worries.
All right. Well, why don't you let people know where they can find you online?
Sure. We're on the main socials, primarily since X has turned into what it has. We are primarily on Instagram,
Yep.
and Threads and Blue Sky and Facebook, all under Voices from the Mausoleum. Our primary content, of course, is on YouTube. That's where you probably want to go to get most of our stuff, but we do post on the socials pretty regularly too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm mostly just on Instagram these days. I
I know.
post when new episodes are up on Blue Sky, but that's about it I do over there. Just
Yeah.
because I don't know. I've been mostly off. I've mentioned this several times on the podcast. People have heard me talk about it enough, but
Yeah.
I've been mostly off social media, just kind of reading and enjoying movies and just doing stuff without being caught up in the everyday like
I more than
grind of social
understand that.
media. Yeah.
I more than understand that. Yeah, I have not been
Yeah.
super great about the social media stuff, but
Oh,
we're there and we do post stuff and it's
exactly.
primarily I would say Instagram the most. I'm trying to get better about posting
Yeah.
in the other places, but I forget. And then like I said, always stuff on YouTube. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming
Thank
on, and
you.
we'll
Yeah.
talk to you again soon.
All right. See ya.
Thanks for listening. Creepy and Geeky is produced and hosted by Robert Clark. If you like what you've heard, please consider giving the show 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and share the podcast on social media to help spread the word. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app or at creepyandgeeky.com. You can follow the podcast by going to creepyandgeeky.com and clicking on any of the social links. If you'd like to follow me, you can find my links at geekthulu.com. You can support the podcast by ordering teas and more on TeePublic or by donating to the coffee page. All of the links are in the show notes. Finally, don't forget, stay creepy.